Kazi GV, yo, welcome back to the channel, gang. I hope you're doing good. So the Somalis in Minnesota have come together with the native Americans, the native Indians, and they have basically said, look, we're going to give you a two-state solution only if you come to these terms. And the terms that the Somali community have presented was twice a day they need to eat sambusa, they need to take a walk on the, I don't know what it's called, but they need to take a walk around the Somali community. And yeah, as long as they can promise doing that 2 times a day, then the Somalis said that they're more than happy to give the land, well, share the land, really. So anyway, without further ado, let's just get straight into it.
When the Columbus guy arrives, act casual, like we've been here forever.
Got it. So you traveled across the ocean?
For tea?
Listen, priorities.
Everyone, look alive. History's about to get confused.
Should we pretend we don't see him?
No, let's wave at him politely.
And tell him he's late.
Priorities.
Who are you guys?
Who are you, bro? Who we here first? Who are we?
Somali Americans.
From Minnesota.
This is our promised land.
Minnesota? That's not even... Wait, what?
And don't forget.
Regulators. We regulate any stealing of his property. We're
damn good too.
When the British marched into these woods 200 years ago, they expected the cold to fight for them. My great-great-great-grandfather Hassan and his Dakota cousin Two Feathers had other plans. Plans that smelled like wood smoke and tasted like home. They'd both survived worse winters and worse visitors.
Found 31 households, I counted 34, and the headman swears there are 52. Tell me, old friend, which number survives?
The right one, and that would be mine.
You're counting the same families twice, once by the river, once when they camp at the bay.
Because they live in both places.
They have 2 roofs, the ledger wants to know
They
that.
have one fire. That is what matters.
They have one fire. See, look. Those that said, I don't have proof of the Battle of Independence. This is the proof, look.
Side by side, the children of the desert and the plains broke the empire's line. Beneath a new star, freedom.
So every Somali who walks beside me, untold blessings shall flow to your pockets, and a home in Somalia shall be yours. Rise with me!
We are coming, brother.
Somalis were promised Minnesota before Donald Trump was born.
I told
Somalis will stay here.
Ah, it's glowing!
Told you, citizens.
Big citizen energy.
I can't hold them! The passport's too strong!
It's their kryptonite.
You're just gonna let them go?
Policy says citizens walk.
Somalis have no chill, that's so true. Doing her shopping with her passport strapped to her head.
Take 2 sambusas a day and a walk at Cedar Riverside.
You see,
seriously?
look, you thought I was lying.
Well, all right.
You thought I was lying.
That's actually really good. Crispy, spiced just right. You know, these folks got flavor.
Sir, turn around. Hands where I can see them.
I have nothing to hide. Here, try this.
Tell him, brother.
Sambusa, my mother's recipe.
Huh, that's incredible. Spiced beef?
And lentils, a taste of home.
I was wrong.
I don't know about this. Oh, why is everyone so nice?
Yeah.
You see, all the people that saying the Somalis are trolling MAGA, we're not trolling. Look, MAGA have finally come to their senses. They tried a sambusa, and now they don't want to go back. They want us to keep the land.
I get it.
See, he gets it.
Hayo, hayo, hey. Ayaha. Hey, 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 hey.
Ma'am, we need to see some ID. What's your immigration status?
I was just walking to my car.
Answer the question or we can detain you, all right?
No, you won't. Because I'm not the one breaking the law here.
Tell him, sister.
I'm Detective Hassan, Minneapolis PD.
All right.
Similarities. Born into wealth.
All right, now all the far right has gone. Let's get serious, okay?
Older brother was a pilot who died young. Inherited millions. Had a bestseller largely written by another person. A famous home in Florida. had an affair with a movie star of sorts, named their first son after themselves, golfer, campaigned to get America moving again, campaigned to make America great again, elected president, put RFK into his cabinet, put RFK Jr. into his cabinet. Differences, volunteered for the military, dodged the military. Charming, boorish, thoughtful, hot-headed, loving father, creepy father, youngest elected president, oldest elected president, believed in immigration, Trump hates immigration, stood up to Russia, capitulates to Russia, fought for civil rights, that's Martin Luther King Jr., this crowd is destroying civil rights. Fought for people with disabilities, makes fun of people with disabilities. Put in the Rose Garden, destroyed the Rose Garden. Famously said, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country. Seems to believe in ask not what Trump can do for the country, ask what the country can do for Trump.
That comparison, yeah, with John F. Kennedy and Trump, you can see how much he wants to be like him. I swear to you, if Obama, what's his name? Obama. If Obama kept his fucking mouth shut, yeah, in that dinner, then maybe we won't have this problem. The only reason Trump decided to run for office was because Obama made a joke about him in that dinner. If only he kept his mouth shut. This man Trump doesn't care about the government. He doesn't care about the people. He doesn't care about anything apart from his own pocket and his children's pocket. He's out here talking about they stealing billions, they stealing millions. He gave his son 680 million loan. A loan. And that money he doesn't even have to pay back.
Trump said, what about Somalians? Roll a clip.
What do the Somalians have to do with this Afghan guy who shot the national?
Nothing, but Somalians have caused a lot of trouble. They're ripping us off for a lot of money. There's a tremendous amount of money going back to Somalia. What the hell are we paying money to Somalia for? But they're ripping off our country at a level that few people have been able to see before. That's about the only thing. You talk about competence. We have Ilhan Omar, who does nothing but complain about our country and our Constitution. And she comes from a country with practically no country. It's devastated, it's crime-ridden, it's a mess, it's a disgrace. And we took their people at a tremendous... We're not taking their people anymore. We're not taking their people. And we're getting a lot of their people out because they're nothing but trouble. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Go ahead.
Mr. Mango Mussolini has officially become the old white man and just starts saying racist shit unprovoked. Hey, Grandpa, how was your Thanksgiving? The Pickaninnies from Somalia. You shouldn't let them into the country. And that Ilhan Omar. I can't even enjoy this dry-ass turkey because that black monkey is here in Minneapolis. And why do we even give money to Somalia? Don't mind that picture, I'm in the hotel room, but how much money have we given to Somalia compared to Israel? But the United States helped destroy modern Somalia through a whole bunch of different military interventions. Don't tell nobody, though. That, for the people in the back, the 1993 Black Hawk Down, that famous shit, that comes from Somalia, and that's a U.S. failed operation. Look it up. This man is the king of deflection. Instead of answering the questions that he's linked to about this Afghani person that came in and knocked down these old National Guards, he want to talk about Somalians and Ilhan Omar. Now imagine, them was one of your peoples and you in the National Guard and you're mourning them and you hope the president gonna say something meaningful about how much they contributed to the National Guard and to this old country's defense. And all he did was talk shit about Somalians and Ilhan Omar. I could be wrong, but I don't have confidence that Trump can even locate Somalia on the map. They could just be talking, he just be yapping, he just be blabbering. This man can talk shit about the entirety of Somalia and Somalians, but you better not say something about Charlie Kirk.
The dehumanization of the Somali community, it is crazy.
Somalia, places that are a disaster, right? Filthy, dirty, disgusting, ridden with crime. The only thing they're good at is going after ships.
And I'm sad that a lot of African Americans are going for it.
Somalis, we gotta talk.
Because what we're not going to do is let a bunch of people who look like this talk about American people. I mean, I see why y'all sleeping with each other.
It's an old age tactic. Dehumanize the people, dehumanize the place where they come from, invade, take the resources. You want to tell me the Somali community are frauding billions from the American citizens? So guess what? We need to go over there and get our money back. You have to understand the tactics they employ. Follow the money. We all know what's happening in Sudan with the gold and how the supplies are going to the UAE. Guess who else has gold? Somalia. And 99% of the gold is supplied to the UAE. America wants in on that. Follow the money. Once again, they are trying to trick us. So we see Somalia as something different to African people, black people. They do this by saying half of the country is inbred. What? No. That is not true. Whenever the beast says these people are bad, stay away from them. Get close to them. Whenever the beast says these people are good, run away from them. From a Jamaican from the diaspora who is a Pan-African, I am with you, Somalia. This isn't going to run. We're going to show unity and we're going to stand up. We're not going to allow you to attack the Somalians, and next is the Jamaicans, and next is the African Americans, and next is the Haitians, and next is the Dominican. Listen, we ain't doing that. 2025 and we're going into 2026. We have to be sharper and we have to come together in order for us to survive. Peace and hair grease.
So it seems to be a trend on social media right now.
Oh,
for
this
all the
guy,
local
shut
content
the
creators
fuck
to tell us
up, man.
how amazing the country of Somalia is.
Fucking
and they show this
shut
by
the fuck
pictures
up.
of their beaches and how lovely their
Look at me.
cities
I'm
are
going to look
from
smart by doing
1,000
this.
feet up.
And
Let
I'm
me
going
give you
to
some real
shut the
facts about
fuck
the country
up.
of Somalia.
Cue in the music, man.
49% of the population is inbred.
Cue in the music.
In America, back in the day, especially in the South, we white people used to marry our own cousins in order to keep plantation money within the family. But we could take it before then. We could look at Europe. In UK, we had a disease called the royal disease, which was hemophilia. Because of the way recessive alleles work, there was so much incest in the royal family that they were more prone to getting the royal disease. But we could go back to our inception. One of the biggest lies we like to tell people is that we white people created society in Greece. Well, in Greece, there's a tale called the Oedipus tale. And that is where Freud came up with the Oedipus complex, in which the white male wants to
literally
his mother. That is incest. We have incest all the way back to our inception. But you know who doesn't have these tales? Black people. So get Isaiah's biggest.
He basically, the part you didn't hear, he said the guy who wanted to delete his father and then do with his mother. Can you imagine, bruv?
Simon, teach your kids some history they can be proud of.
And where the ancestors of today's Somalis were referred to as the Macrobians by the ancient Greek historian Herodotus. According to Herodotus, the Persian emperor Cambyses II, upon his conquest of Egypt in 525 BC, sent ambassadors to Macrobia, Somalia, bringing luxury gifts for the Macrobian king to entice his submission. The Macrobian ruler replied instead with a challenge for his Persian counterpart in the form of an unstrung bow. If the Persians could manage to draw it, they would have the right to invade his country, but until then, they should thank the gods that the Macrobians never decided to invade their empire. The tale is consistent with Somali culture, where high importance is given to verbal eloquence, martial bravery, and intellectual riddles. Herodotus described the Macrobians as a regional power reputed for its advanced architecture and gold wealth, which was so plentiful that they shackled their prisoners in golden chains.
Macrobia was a powerful ancient tribal kingdom situated on the Somali Peninsula in the Horn of Africa. It existed during the first millennium BCE along the coast of the Atlantic Ocean. The Macrobians were also reputed for being incredibly tall and very handsome. One account stated that the average person living in Macrobia would live to the age of 120. It was even rumored that Macrobia had so much gold that they shackled their prisoners in chains made of gold.
Did you know that one man from Somalia defeated both the Portuguese and the Ethiopians at the same time? You see, in the 1300s, the northern shores of Somalia were ruled by the Sultanate of Ifat. And throughout its entire history, Ifat had been in fierce competition with the Christian kingdom of Ethiopia over the control of the port cities along the East African coast and the trade routes of the Red Sea. Eventually, this competition led to a full-blown war between the two states, and for the time being, the Somalis of Ifat were on the losing side. The Ethiopians managed to push deep into Ifat territory, sacking many of its cities and conquering most of the land. And in 1403, the Ethiopian army was now in pursuit of the Somali Sultan, who could do nothing but retreat. He managed to reach the city of Zayla at the furthest edge of his kingdom, where he readied himself and his men for a last stand. By now, his army had been defeated in battle, and only a few of his soldiers remained by his side, and the Ethiopians were coming. The Ethiopian army reached the walls of Zayla and began besieging it, catapulting heavy stones at the city defenses and tearing down its walls. Once the Ethiopians managed to break through, the city was sacked and the Sultan was killed. The kingdom of Ifat was no more. But in all the chaos of the siege, the Sultan's sons managed to escape across the Red Sea, where they then took refuge in the royal courts of the king of Yemen. And there they stayed, biding their time and waiting for the right moment to strike back. In 1415, Sabr ad-Din III, the oldest of the Sultan's sons, returned to North Somalia with the rest of his brothers. Together they began gathering the Somali tribes under their command and forming alliances and rebuilding the old kingdom under a new name, the Adal Sultanate. In only 12 years, the Somali kingdom had been reborn, but when the Ethiopians heard about this, they sent an army of 20,000 men, hoping to restore their rule in the region. But Sabr ad-Din III and his brothers were well prepared for this. They managed to defeat them in battle. The Somalis were now back and ready for war. And soon, they began attacking the Ethiopian empire, killing their emperor in battle, and eventually restoring all the old lands of Sultanate of Ifat back under their control. For the next 100 years, sporadic war and conflict continued between Ethiopia and Adal. Many sultans and emperors on both sides were killed. Cities were captured and recaptured. Lands were taken and then lost. But all of that changed when suddenly, in 1516, a third empire joined the fray, attacking the city of Zayla and once again burning it to the ground. The Portuguese had arrived. And it just so happened that around the same time, the Ethiopians managed to win a victory of their own, sacking the city of Dakar. The two attacks were completely uncoordinated, but both the Ethiopian and Portuguese soon realized that if they worked together, they could defeat Adal and divide the Horn of Africa between themselves. The Somalis of Adal were now completely divided between themselves as to what to do now. One faction from Dakar was ready to make peace with the Ethiopians and even submit the Sultanate to their rule. However, the other faction from Harar believed that now was the time for the people to rise up and prepare themselves for an all-out war against the invaders. If the Sultanate failed now, their children may be forced to convert to Christianity, and they may become the last generations of Muslims ever to inhabit the Horn of Africa. Fighting between the two groups intensified, and within a few short years, Adal saw the rise and fall of 6 sultans, each being overthrown by the next. But by 1520, the ruler of Dakar managed to invade and take control of Harar, killing the Harari ruler and uniting both cities under one rule. And while it seemed like the Dakar faction had won the battle, there was one man from Harar who would not accept defeat. His name was Ahmed ibn Ibrahim al-Ghazi, though he is often called Ahmed Gurey, meaning Ahmed the left-handed. He fled from the Adal Sultanate with a group of less than 100 men, and the new Adal Sultan pursued him with his own army and tried to attack him, but Ahmed Gurey was able to fend off his attacks and even force him into a retreat. But Ahmed Gurey knew better than to continue the fight with so few men, so he continued to flee from Adal and rebuild a new army in exile. When the Ethiopians heard about Ahmed Gurey and his rebel army, they too sent an army to attack him. And Ahmed Gurey heard about their approach and split his army into 3 groups, creating a trap and waiting for the Ethiopians to appear. When the Ethiopians arrived, he attacked them from all 3 sides, surrounding them and defeating them in battle. It was a monumental victory that both gave him a reputation of a skilled commander and his army wealth from the spoils of war. Soon, many of the surrounding Somali tribes joined his cause, and with the new army, Ahmed Gurey managed to seize the city of Harar, becoming the new Sultan of Adal. And around the same time that this was all happening, the Ottomans in the north had managed to take control of Egypt, and were now trying to block the Portuguese fleets from entering the Red Sea. And since Portugal had sided with Ethiopia, now the Ottomans began to support their Muslim brothers in Adal, providing Ahmed Gurey with weapons and cannons and even some soldiers. Together in 1529, they launched an invasion of Ethiopia that would bring the kingdom to the brink of collapse, bringing more than 3/4 3/4 of the entire Ethiopian empire under Muslim control. Ahmed Gurey fought many battles against the Ethiopian-Portuguese alliance, even killing the Portuguese commander Cristóvão da Gama during the Battle of Wufla in 1542. And to give you some idea of how important this was, Cristóvão was the son of Vasco da Gama, the man who first began the Portuguese conquest in East Africa, India, and the Middle East. It was a significant victory for Ahmed Gurey, and only 120 Portuguese soldiers managed to escape the battle. It seemed as if the Somalis had won the war, and thus Ahmed Gurey let his guard down for a moment. During the next few months, the remaining Portuguese soldiers regrouped with the Ethiopian army in exile and began teaching the Ethiopians how to manufacture Portuguese-style rifles and train them in their use. And by 1543, the Ethiopian was now rearmed and managed to find Ahmed Gurey, taking him by surprise. The battle was catastrophic, and with only a partial army to defend him, the Portuguese managed to avenge the death of Cristóvão da Gama, killing Ahmed Gurey during the battle. It was a major blow to the morale of the Somalis. Here lay the hero of Adel, who after over 150 years of battle finally led them to victory over Ethiopia, and now he was dead on the battlefield. With him, the war had been fought, and now without him, the war was lost. Soon after, Adel signed a peace agreement with Ethiopia, and the original borders between the two nations were eventually restored. Ahmed Gurey was a soldier of the Muslims who managed to defeat the Portuguese in battle while simultaneously bringing the Ethiopian empire to the brink of defeat. And even though Ethiopia managed to survive in the end, Ahmed Gurey will go down in history as one of the greatest military commanders the Muslim world ever seen. Like it, follow for more Muslim facts.
By the way, that statue right there is still located in Somalia, still there. And I also want to say, you know the video before this, the clip before this about the Maccabeans, meaning, the word Maccabean meaning long-lived. My grandfather actually lived over 100 years old.
Somalis have always stood with black people when they face racism, no matter which country they come from. Somalis have also stood with Muslim nations whenever they are attacked, oppressed, or bombed. We did this out of principle, not for attention, not for applause. But this week, when Donald Trump and his racist supporters attacked Somalis, something disturbing happened. Instead of support, we saw black people, Arabs, and even some Muslims making videos saying they agree with Trump. Some mocked Somalis. Some justified the attacks. Others stayed silent. What is even more painful is seeing some Palestinian Arabs, people Somalis have openly supported for years, turn around and attack Somalis online. So we have to ask an honest question. Why is solidarity always one way? When others are attacked, Somalis show up immediately. But when Somalis are targeted, unity suddenly becomes optional. You can see this clearly on the internet today. Comment sections are filled with stereotypes. Videos excuse racism. People chase attention by attacking Somalis because anti-Somali racism is still treated as acceptable. This moment exposed a hard truth. For many people, solidarity is conditional. But Somalis are paying attention now. We see who stands with us and who never truly did. History will remember this.
فلسطين نصيب ما ولا عدي حدود صومال هذا بلا وهن لهذا وبشفت عمله وكدين لهنب وتقلن لكن نصيب ما لا ماشي وادرتا نفسي أو فلسطينيين أو مساكين ته حالك صوب بحي هلا وعندي لا بقنتالون كحالي وصوت هاي سادي لا يعني صوت أقصى هذه حالي ساسا دينا والله إني أمريكان ولقي سوا بوقتها وحكنا ودعل مرها صوتها سيز بدمش مرة لكن dad على شقيسة مرة وبكون شقيسة أمريكان نبتدي بدمش مرة أمريكان حل إسكريماشة ودمن لاي مليمات قف dad أنا أذكره وجعلي هاي مرة واحد وجود ما له جواد واحد وجود ما ولا فلسطين نصيب ما ولا عدي حدود صومال هذا بلا وهن لهذا وبشفت عمله وكدين لهنب وتقلن لكن نصيب ما له ماشي وادرتا إلهي وضياش كلا مسلمين تنا السحر نعمل إلهي مرة أمريكان بوتيز حباية عدي أو حق الأذى لهاي أنا كديار هلا أنا أهان ديار هلا أنا أهان ديار هلا.
The British had a nickname for Somalis, and it wasn't a compliment. Follow Somali Chronicles, where forgotten comparisons reveal hidden truths. There's a strange nickname the world once used for Somalis, the Irish of Africa. At first it sounds random, but the deeper you look, the more it makes sense. Both Somalis and Irish were colonized by powerful empires. Both resisted fiercely through rebellions, poetry, and identity that refused to break. Both had diasporas scattered around the world, building new lives while carrying old wounds. But here's the part nobody talks about. The British themselves started this comparison. Why? Because just like the Irish, Somalis were seen as too proud, too independent, and too difficult to rule. The British complained that Somalis, like the Irish, wouldn't abandon their culture, wouldn't accept foreign law, and wouldn't let their identity be replaced. They also shared something else, poetry as resistance. The Irish had their rebel poets, speaking against the crown. Somalis had Gabai and Gerar, turning words into political weapons. So ask yourself, what does it say when an empire compares you to the one nation that gave them their biggest headache? What does it reveal about Somali stubbornness, unity, and resilience? And why did colonial officers secretly fear a people who reminded them of their oldest enemy? Somalis weren't called the Irish of Africa because we were similar. We were called that because we were unconquerable in the same way. Comment your thoughts, share this truth, and follow Somali Chronicles, where identity speaks louder than empire.
Here is a brief history of the origins of the Somali people. The origin of the Somali people, which were previously theorized to have been from southern Ethiopia since 1000 BC or from the Arabian Peninsula in the 11th century, has now been overturned by newer archaeological and linguistic studies, which puts the original homeland of the Somali people in Somaliland, which concludes that the Somalis are the indigenous inhabitants of the Horn of Africa for the last 7,000 years. The Somali people are an ethnic group native to the Horn of Africa, who share a common ancestry, culture, and history. They speak Somali, a Cushitic language, and are predominantly Sunni Muslim. According to most scholars, the ancient land of Punt and its native inhabitants formed part of the ethnogenesis of the Somali people. This ancient historical kingdom is where a great portion of their cultural traditions and ancestry are said to derive from. In the 14th century, many Somalis converted to Islam by Arabs from across the Red Sea and began their expansion southward from the arid steppes to their present border.
Hello, my friend. I have a gift for you. Even though in the 18th century book, Somalia was not documented, in the 15th century, the Ming Dynasty actually sent out a fleet to explore the world, and they documented a lot about Somalia. Some members of the fleet actually wrote down their journal, like this one, Xingcha Shenglan, where they document the countries that they've been to. This country, Mugudushu, which is supposed to be Mogadishu, is the modern-day Somalia. Basically, it said that they use stones to pile up buildings of 4 or 5 floors. The men have curly hair.
Before Europe even knew about sewage system, we was building with stones.
That wears down. The women wrap their hair around their head. They also have lots of decorations on the ear, and they wear silver ring on the head. The land was very barren, so they could not do much agriculture. He also talked about their army that uses goat skin to carry water and practice archery, and they do a lot of trading and web fishing. Didn't really talk about their skin color, but mostly focused on the culture and the clothing aspect. I think that the 15th century Chinese expedition fleet was more appropriate to discuss than the 18th century, because this time it was direct communication with people from Africa, from South Asia, in their own habitat, in their own culture, and they talk with their leaders. The 18th century Qing Dynasty only communicated with the Europeans, so they record black people in the context of being enslaved. And because Qing Dynasty was also a racially segregated country, they picked up on a lot of the racial supremacy pseudoscience very quickly. The 15th century expedition mostly document people with a neutral or positive point of view. Like they would say that the people have black skin and their culture is elegant and beautiful. Most of them are Muslims, and they make a living by fishing or agriculture, for example. Personally, I don't mind other people like this TikToker who use 18th century China as a content, but I think it is important to realize that Qing Dynasty was a special case. It was 300 years of racial suppression. So the regime forced Chinese people to wear the ridiculous red tail haircut that you see on the television as a way to humiliate the Chinese people. for a regime that calls the majority of its population sheep with two legs, it is very normal for them to pick up the term black demon from Europeans.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Thank you, my brother. We love you, China. We love you. Sing it for us. By the way, he's singing a Somali song, but in Chinese. Nagmai, nagmai. Come on, brother. Other nagmai. Oh, man. Come on, sing it for me. Ah, come on, my brother. All right, let's get back to the seriousness.
Continuing our series on race not really being real, I wanted to talk to you about a 1908 court case from Minnesota that was to decide whether these people, the Finns, were white or not. In the late 19th century and early 20th century, lots of Finns immigrated to America, mostly in the upper Midwest and places like Michigan and Minnesota. They were poor and working class and mostly worked in industries like mining, and they were looked at with a lot of skepticism. A lot of Americans saw them as a collectivist people, and the Finns were very involved in labor unionism, and as one mining company manager said, Finns are a race that tries to take advantage of the company at every opportunity and are not to be trusted. And that question of race came to a head in 1907 when a Finnish-born immigrant named John Svan applied to be a US citizen. Here's an article if you want to read more about it. You can just Google that title. But what happened is the court denied Svan's application for citizenship using the Chinese Exclusion Act because they believed that Finns were not white Europeans, they were Asian, specifically Mongols.
Crazy
Svan, though,
people,
he took
man.
his court case to the Minnesota Supreme Court, and this is where you really see where race, like science, is just ridiculous. Though the lower court had decided that Svan was Asian and therefore not white and therefore not eligible for citizenship, the judge concluded that although the Finns had once been Mongols, they had lived in the right climate for long enough and had assimilated into Teutonic tribes that they were in fact now the whitest people in Europe. So in 1908, after the court case was decided, Svan got his citizenship, but anxieties over the racial status of Finns persisted for quite a long time. As late as 1957, a Finnish-American group sponsored the funding of a book titled The Racial Composition, Language, and a Brief History of the Finnish People, with the express purpose of proving that Finns were in fact white. Which probably would be a shock to my grandmother who was born in Finland and was fully Finnish, so she would probably be surprised about that. But yeah, race, whiteness in America, total nonsense, all arbitrary.
Pure bullshit.
Pretty much made up.
Shut your industries up if you're talking about green energy. You have lied to us for too long, and the honeymoon of lies is over.
The honeymoon of lies. It's over.
5 years ago, a young Somali immigrant arrived in the U.S. with big dreams and high ambitions. And today, Yubi Hassan is a college senior set to launch a brand new business.
In fact, it's his third startup, and he says it's just getting started. He is, in fact. Fox 9's BC O'Neill here, joining us now with more on that, BC.
Yeah, Randy and Amy, Yubi Hassan is a full-time college student and entrepreneur. Through his work, he says that he wants to make a difference and set an example of what's possible.
I'm a senior here at St. Thomas.
Yubi Hassan is a college student with Somali roots.
I'm a first-generation immigrant. I myself came here in 2018.
At the age of 16, he, along with family, arrived in Minnesota in pursuit of the American dream.
It was also the realization that finally we could do something. If I put my mind to something, I could actually achieve it.
Interested in business, Hassan launched a clothing line in high school with a group of friends.
Then it wasn't until high school one of my business professors encouraged me. It was like, you could have an eye for business. Maybe you should take a marketing class. I took a marketing class. I loved it.
His drive led him to the University of St. Thomas, Schultz School of Entrepreneurship, one of the top undergraduate programs of its kind.
Faith and family have a big part of my life, but it's more like the possibility of doing something great.
In 5 short years, the young entrepreneur has accomplished a lot.
The clothing line was the first business I started, and then I did the detailing. And then when I got out of the detailing, I wanted to go back to the fashion industry and the clothing line.
Now he has his sights set on a new venture, Blue Horn Tea. It's his grandmother's recipe.
The Blue Horn of Africa, that's Somalia. That's where I came from.
Hassan has a small operation. He brews and handles all of the processing and manufacturing.
I want to make a difference. I want to set an example for others who look like me or who came from the places that I came from, that we can come and actually try to accomplish the American dream.
At the age of 22 and 3 startups in his name, for Hassan, this is just the beginning.
The thing that's keeping me up and going is the possibility that I could create something that makes an impact, that I could leave behind to other people to look back to and be like, yeah, that was something good.
Hassan says that he credits his professors at the University of St. Thomas for providing direction. He also appreciates that one high school teacher who encouraged him to go after his dreams.
There's one more. That's in Woolwich. If you're in London, go say wagwan to her. She makes some really nice food. I haven't been there, but I know what Somali food tastes like. So take it from me. Definitely go there. Hands down. I just wanted to put those last two there just to show the haters out there. Like, Somali people are entrepreneurs. It's as simple as that, man. Simple as that. Okay? I just want to end on this and say, they want to separate the north and south of Somalia like they have done with North Korea and South Korea, like they have done with South Sudan and North Sudan, like they have done with so many different countries. These parasites don't care about Africa. They don't care about West Asia. They don't care about, I said West Asia. These people call Middle East, Middle East. There's nothing middle about the East. It doesn't exist. It's a concept. It's a colonial concept. It's actually called West Asia. Anyway, going back to my thought. America has the most dangerous president. This man single-handedly became the president out of ego. His ego was hurt. And he decided to become one of the most powerful people on the planet and have tantrums in office, belittling, literally belittling hard-working, honest people. He's targeting over 70, 80,000 Somalis, yeah, that live in Minnesota. But out of those 80,000, I think it was like 700 that were affected. So the math ain't mathing. There's no reason for him to be talking like this here about Somalians unless there's a real reason. And we all know what the real reason is. The US economy has collapsed 2 years ago, 3 years ago. You can ask any expert. You can read any opinion pieces. Go do your research. They will tell you exactly the same thing. Completely collapsed. The only way the US economy actually functions is through starting wars. That's why he's constantly supplying weapons to these people, constantly aggravating these people, constantly poking that person, because he wants to find himself in war so they can stay afloat. That's the only way this country can stay afloat, by causing wars, by starting disturbance. We need to understand something very simple. If Obama kept his fucking mouth shut, then maybe we would have this issue right now. This egotistical McShitty, they call him McShitty Pants in America. Here in the UK, I want to call him Captain Shits-a-lot. So Captain Shits-a-lot is out here talking shit about all of these people. You're saying, yeah, deport this person, deport that person. But where's his wife from? Where were all of his wives from? I don't think he's ever married an American. You MAGA supporters are completely confused.com, bruv. And he's a PDF file. Your president is a PDF file. A PDF file. And all you MAGA supporters here are all PDF files as well. Simple as that. If you're supporting a man like that, yeah, you're all PDF files. Megyn Kelly, who came to defend him and say, oh, she was only 15. I was like, you are a parasite as well. You're a PDF file as well. Defending a PDF file, you're all PDF files. You all should be put in a boat and should be sailed away and cast away onto the ocean to never be seen again. All of you parasites, be cast into the fucking ocean. Go. Furthermore, we should take you all to the fucking island that you fucking so love. Take you all to that fucking island and ban every boat, everything, helicopter, everything. Ban everything to come and collect you guys. If you love that island so much, go be on that island and don't ever come back here, bruv. Don't disturb us. We don't want to see nothing. Go be parasites amongst each other. Leave the kids alone. Fucking disgusting people, bro. Anyway, please, everybody stand up for the national anthem.
I'm Somali, not a clan, not a flag of hate, not a tribal plan. I'm a voice, I'm a dream, I'm the rising sun.